Hello and welcome to Look Out, the show all about what to look for, now with improved lighting. And tonight's episode is brought to you by Three Musketeers Minis. Whipped up, fluffy chocolate on chocolate taste. It's a lighter way to enjoy chocolate.
From Hollywood, California, it's Go to Bed with Jordan. Jordan's guests tonight include, and here he is now, Jordan.
Welcome to Go to Bed with Jordan. I am Jordan. It feels good to finally have a late night talk show on the same network that brings us such quality shows as Homestar Runner, a fat kid playing with a lightsaber, and a cat eating pasta. Unfortunately, we really don't have a budget here on the show. Yeah. That's because we have that light. This little mini flashlight is a stage light. Hello! And we don't even have a guest tonight. But it's okay, because we're still going to get higher ratings than Last Call with Carson Daly. So, tonight is our late night episode, which is dealing all about the late night talk shows that are surrounding American television. Of course, it's a great day for America because this episode pretty much writes for itself. Oh, sorry, I'm having a little problem reading this cue card. Is it just me, or is there way too many talk shows now on television? Okay. Well, there was so much late-night television shows, I think the best thing we could do is just mention them all. Why? Equal time, except for if you're talking about things in cable, in which case they get less support from me. Oh yes, The Late Show with David Letterman. One of the longest reigning television talk shows in history. It's been on for well over 25 years, which is even before I was born. So I feel like one of those 12-year-olds did think playing Atari video games will make them cool when I'm talking about this guy. But Dave has it on. He has great segments like Stupid Pet Tricks, Stupid Human Tricks, and let's not forget about the Late Show Top 10 list. But one of my new favorite skits happened not that long ago involving a certain incident.
You don't like this one? In the television industry, there are two types of talk show hosts: Jay Leno and those who have been victimized by Jay Leno. These are their stories.
Oh yes, the ginger-haired Conan O'Brien. While many late-night hosts take their jobs very seriously, Conan not so much. He takes things very lightly. He knows when skits fail, they just laugh it off. And let's face it, many of them do. But the best part about this is so many characters. Triumph, the insult comic dog, the FedEx Pope, and, might I add, Max Weinberg. Now normally I'll be showing some more clips of Conan and be showing you why he's one of my favorite people on late night television. The only problem is I can't say he's going to be on late night television in the near future because of this whole time slot debacle. Now more on that later, but man, I have seen Conan O'Brien in person. His show is just the best. I'm sure all these late night shows are great, but Conan's really, it made me more interested in television. So, here's a clip.
My specialty, yeah.
My favorite flavor.
Yeah. Seriously, though, things are getting they're getting tense between me and NBC. Yeah, this is I'm not kidding around. Just coming to work in the morning now has gotten really uncomfortable. Yeah, take a look. Randy, you got hit.
I've been shot before.
You got hit like right here. That was bad.
Yeah. I expel it like Wolverine.
Oh, okay. Oh, man, that's not far from the truth. Yeah.
Of course, after these shows, because you have Conan and Letterman, you have to have something on after these. And luckily, we have the same damn thing, only on just a little bit later. One of which is the Michael Cera of Late Night with Jimmy Fallon.
Recycle or donate your old cell phones. This one belongs to the president of NBC. Give Jimmy Fallon a raise. And do it!
It's funny because $5 million just isn't enough for Jimmy Fallon. And if you found that funny, well, then you'll probably like Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. Of course, that was more of a very childish joke, but I will give Jimmy Fallon credit. There is some skits that I really do find hilarious. One of which is something called the head swap.
We're gonna see what happens when you take the head of one celebrity and put it on the body of another celebrity. It's time for head swap!
Talking about a head swap. Talking about a head swap. First you take a head, then you put in another body. Like if Christian Bale's head wasn't Sandra Bullock's body, that's a head swap. First you get 2 pictures of some famous people, then you scan them and convert them to JPEG files, and you email the files to the graphics department. The guy in graphics, they'll get right on it. You're so excited about doing this bit that you write the graphics guy a thank you card, and the graphics guy calls, says the work's almost done, just come into his office
And stop right there. Now I have to stop right there because it's a very, 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 very long sketch where you take a celebrity's head, then you put another body. Like if Jimmy Fallon's head was on Jay Leno's body, that's a head swap. But we gotta move on to probably one of the strangest people on Late Night, Craig Ferguson. Oh yes, the train wreck of a talk show, the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. See, it's the only talk show in existence that actually has lyrics to its show. And not only that, but it's also the only show where you actually get the same thing every episode, but it's different based on the celebrities that appear. See, it begins with a cold opening, and then the theme song and a monologue starting with the line, "It's a great day for America," which makes you feel good inside. Then he reads some emails, maybe does a few skits here and there, rips up an interview card with celebrities. You get the point. The fun part is, you know you're getting a really weird show, but it's different. And because of its difference, you seem to enjoy it more. And let's face it, is it really that hard to have a late night talk show? I mean, all you gotta do is just look at a teleprompter, tell a few wacky jokes, do a few skits, and then read off the cards to celebrities. It's a pretty easy gig if you think about it. But with Craig Ferguson, you don't get that standard textbook shit. No. With Craig Ferguson, he doesn't even look at a teleprompter. He just rants about whatever's on the top of his head, as well as a few personal things, such as like what comedy clubs he's been to, what movies he just saw, important personal things like the time he got his citizenship or the time he lost his dad. Those are very, very personal things, and he let them out to millions of people. But not only that, he doesn't look at the questions on the cards. He rips them up and throws it away like no one gives a shit. And not only that, but what's the point of a late night show? The fact you have no budget at all, but you somehow get millions of people to come and enjoy your show. With all these other shows, they have to hire props, gags. With Craig Ferguson's show, all you get is Craig Ferguson. And let's face it, isn't that the American dream? Okay, probably not, but that is to me.
Oh, he just was in a really bad mood. I tried to flash in my hot pocket, but that didn't seem to make a difference.
Oh, that didn't help?
No.
Wow.
He didn't seem to respond.
Who are they?
Conan O'Brien sent a letter saying he wouldn't move to 12:05 to make room for Jay Leno at 11:35, which I don't understand because Latinos have no problems being told to come into work a half hour later. What?
Way to go, George. You just turned a newsworthy event such as a late night war into a Hispanic joke. I just can't get enough of that George Lopez. He'll turn anything into a joke insulting Latino Americans. Hey, Holmes, did you hear about the Haitian earthquake? Yeah, normally when we're in California, we get the shakes all the time because, you know, we're Hispanic. Fuck you, George Lopez. Between this guy, Carson Daly, and Chelsea Handler, I can't think of 3 other terrible late-night talk show hosts in late night. In order to save millions and millions of dollars, NBC created this plan that backfired called The Jay Leno Show, starring Jay Leno, which is hosted by Jay Leno, a Monday through Friday talk show in which Jay does some of his old Tonight Show routines, but at 10 o'clock. It's the best and the worst talk show in prime time. The best because he resurrects some of his classic Tonight Show segments, such as jaywalking and headlines, but also the worst because he has this weird segment called 10 on 10 where he asks 10 really wacky questions to celebrities. And let's not forget his very, very interesting monologue, as well as some weird new segment involving a car that was probably developed by a Radio Shack employee in a strip mall somewhere.
I haven't done it yet. But it's my show.
So why don't you go and get in the car?
No, I'm not. No, I knew you would chicken out.
No, I'm not chicken out. You get in the car, and then I beat you time.
Do you think you can beat me?
Exactly. You go ahead, because I've not seen you be in the car yet.
All right.
So you go in the car. Okay, go ahead.
Getting celebrities to drive around on a go-kart truck. I think I've seen that before.
Well, don't worry. He did. This should be something else. And he's off.
Oh, there seems to be a new recurring gag now that people must make fun of Jay Leno. I mean, with white hair and his you're gonna use Monica Lewinsky. But really, Jay Leno is a douchebag. You don't believe me? This has been going on even since 1991. From this clip of Late Night with David Letterman.
But anyway, I brought some good news. I have my copy of TV Guide, as I always do.
I don't really need to be out here, do I?
No, we don't need you for this. I've been telling the network that for 18 months.
See that, kids? That's a textbook definition of a douchebag. Because you see, David wanted that Tonight Show with Johnny Carson so much that Jay Leno took it away from him and then rubbed his face all over it. Oh, you wanted the show, Dave? Oh, too bad. I'm gonna be here for 18 months. And it gets worse.
Welcome back. I want to elaborate on an announcement made earlier today. You may have heard about this. I'm going to leave the show in 2009. Okay. All right. No, let me explain. Let me explain how these things work. About 6 months ago, I sat down here with the folks at NBC, and they said, we want to re-up. And I said, okay, what do you want to do? Because I don't have a manager, an agent. I like the people I work with. They're nice folks. And they said, and this is a high-paying job. Oh, it's a great paying job. So they said, listen, we would like to do 5 more years. I said, great. I'd love to do 5 more years. And that was 6 months ago. And then time went by. There's all talk about Conan O'Brien. Will he go to ABC? Will he go to one of these other networks? And they came to me and they said, we don't want to lose Conan O'Brien. I said, okay, what does that mean? And I said, we think Conan would be a good replacement, as I do. Conan is a gentleman, funny, the hottest late night guy out there, excellent. And I said, you know something? I don't want to see Conan go anywhere else. I'm 59. I'll be 59 years old when this leaves. 5 years from now. That's 1,200 shows. They're not going anywhere tomorrow. And I said, you know, there's really only one person who could have done this into his 60s, and that was Johnny Carson. I think it's fair to say I'm no Johnny Carson. So I called up my buddy, I called my buddy Jerry Seinfeld. I said, Jerry, what do you think, you know? And Jerry quit his show when it was the most popular. And I'm proud to say this show has been #1. We will keep it #1. And then in 2009, I'll say, Conan, take it over, it's yours. Because, you know, you can do these things until they carry out on a stretcher, or you can get out when you're still, you're still doing good and think, I'm not quitting show business. But I realize I'm not spending enough time with my cars. But anyway, this is not tomorrow. It's 5 years from today, and I want to say I don't think there's a better choice. Because, when I took this show over, boy, there's a lot of animosity between me and Dave and who's going to get it. And quite frankly, a lot of what I thought, well, good friendships were permanently damaged. And I don't want to see anybody ever have to go through that again. Because this, this show is like a dynasty. You hold it, and then you hand it off to the next person. And I don't want to see all the fighting and all, and who's better, and nasty things back and forth in the press. So right now, here it is. Conan, it's yours. See you in 5 years, buddy. Okay, clear enough? Enough said? All right, let's get on with the show.
Oh, here you go, Conan. You can have the keys to the Tonight Show, but I want him back in 7 months. That is real douchebag move, Jay. So did you hear about this? Did you hear about this? Apparently, NBC executives have decided to bump Jay Leno's show from 10 o'clock to 11:30, and then move the Tonight Show to 12:30, then Fallon Show to 1:30, then some other show, and then Poker After Dark. Man, I haven't seen NBC screw so many viewers since they canceled Seinfeld. Now, it seems to me with this whole late night shenanigans going on here that it's really hard for me to explain it to a lot of people because they really don't understand the difference between 11:30 and 12:30, or rather or not Conan goes to NBC or Fox. It's a whole bunch of weird numbers and figures here. It's confusing a lot of people. So I have to make it simplistic because that was my New Year's resolution, is to make things more simplistic. And I can't think of a way to make things a lot easier than by making a children's book about it. So I created the Big Book of Late Night, and I want to give you a story about the whole late night war. Page 1.
There once was a man named Johnny. He made millions of people laugh every night on television and made a ton of friends. It was called The Tonight Show. He had a friend by the name of David. He also made people laugh every night. His television show came on after Johnny's, and people liked it. Johnny said to David, "When I retire from my job, you can have it." This excited David because he grew up watching Johnny's show. On Fridays, Johnny will let someone else host the show. David was never selected to host because he has a show in New York. One of these people who guest hosted on Fridays was a comedian by the name of Jay. Johnny's friends slowly became Jay's. Mr. Peacock enjoyed seeing Jay so much, they were making a deal for him to host The Tonight Show instead of David. Johnny liked working for Mr. Peacock, but he wanted his friend David to host the show instead of Jay. He wanted David to be his replacement and have Jay on after David. Mr. Peacock did not listen to Johnny because they were getting a lot of toys. The more people that watch Johnny's show, the more toys they can buy. Johnny retired from television and wanted Mr. Peacock to change his mind and let his friend David take over The Tonight Show. Mr. Peacock thanked Johnny for all his work on television, but he decided to give the show to Jay. Thanks, Mr. Peacock, said Jay. I hope I don't screw up that badly. David was not happy about the situation. I worked for Mr. Peacock for 12 years, and I don't get Johnny's job? He stormed out of his office. If Mr. Peacock can't get my job at 11:30, I'll have to do it myself. For the next 6 months, he was talking to other bosses like Mr. Fox and Mr. Alphabet. He was not impressed with these people. Until one day, a person by the name of Mr. I showed up. He was watching David for a long time. They had a similar show to Johnny's, but it made people sleepy. Mr. I wanted David to be on at 11:30. David got his very own show from Mr. I and gave his old show to a gentle giant by the name of Conan. Conan was new to this world, but tried to make the show his own. For the next 15 years, David would be having a show on the same time as Jay. They would try to outdo each other on television by booking celebrities and telling funnier jokes. Conan would be working with Mr. Peacock, trying to do David's prior show. He was friends with both Jay and David, and did not like seeing them get angry. One day, Jay decided he was going to retire from The Tonight Show. He did not want to lose a friend like David to Mr. Peacock again, so he said to Mr. Peacock, "Could you give it to Conan?" Mr. Peacock agreed. People were happy to see everybody become friends again. David's friend Conan would get to be on at the same time as him, and Jay could retire performing stand-up at Indian casinos. Conan left David's old show in the hands of Jimmy. People approved of Jimmy because of his awkward comedy and interview skills. Jimmy's friends, The Roots, made people jump up and dance every night. David congratulated Conan on getting Johnny's old job that Jay had. He knew there would no longer be a rivalry between friends on television. People had a choice between David and Craig or Conan and Jimmy. I am sure there's this guy named Carson somewhere in this story. I think he's a chef. Let's move on. Mr. Peacock was proud of what was going on, that he made a deal with Jay to keep working at 10. Jay accepted the offer and became the only talk show host on at 10 o'clock. However, time passed. The people who were watching The Tonight Show were only 5 when David and Jay were trying to replace Johnny. They don't know who Monica Lewinsky is. Jay was upset. He felt like a complete failure at 10 o'clock. They don't think people like me at 10 o'clock, cried Jay. They're not really that boring. The viewers at Mr. Peacock's network did not want to see Conan's show because of Jay's was on before it, so they instead watched Kimmel's show instead. Kimmel tells jokes, makes fun of people who have English as a second language. This is the last time we will speak about him. Mr. Peacock blames the fact people don't watch Conan's show because of Conan, even though Mr. Peacock was spending more time promoting Jay's new show instead of Conan's. Conan said, I made a ton of friends. I think the reason we don't have more viewers is because of advertising. Mr. Peacock said, I spent all this money flying you and your friends to a new studio. Jay had more viewers than you when we had it. Conan said, that's because he was retiring from television. Somehow, he stopped retiring because he's now hosting a show about celebrities on go-karts. Mr. Peacock said, we are going to move Jay's show to 11:35 and bump your show to 12:05. Conan walked out of the office angry. It's not the Tonight Show if it's on at midnight. It would be the Tomorrow Show. Conan was getting all of his friends at late night about what he should do about possibly getting fired by Mr. Peacock, because he favors Jay. David said to Conan, don't trust Mr. Peacock. They pulled the same thing on me. I hope you can get a show on another network. Jay is evil. Craig said to Conan, it's a great day for America because wherever you go, your friends will follow. I can't give you anything except maybe my book and a lapel pin. Kimmel said to Conan, this is all Jay's fault. If he had stayed retired, none of this would have happened. Please don't take my job. I like working for Mr. Alphabet. Jimmy said to Conan, well, I love Mr. Peacock. Jay's a nice guy, and I wish you all the best. Conan was wondering whom he was talking to. All his friends are angry at Mr. Peacock. They were wondering why they would choose Jay over Conan. They created a team called I'm with Coco by crossing off the word stupid with Coco. Jay was outraged that all his former friends would gang up on him, even though he would get his show back at 11:30. He blames Mr. Peacock for all this, but he signed his contract, which fired Conan in the process. During his final taping, Conan thanked all his friends for the support and continued his show for as long as possible until Mr. Peacock ordered him out of the studio. He walked out of his office and into the limo of a person named Mr. Fox. David urged his friends that night to go watch Conan's last episode. David told his audience, please give him the attention that he deserves. He went through so much suffering in the hands of Mr. Peacock. He should go to another network that treats him right. The millions of people Conan befriended followed him to Mr. Fox's station. Conan had a big party thanking all his late-night friends, except Jimmy for still being the wussiest person on late night. The Roots played with Max Weinberg and the Max Weinberg Band, and Craig knew it was going to be one of the greatest days in America. The end. There! Wasn't that a nice story? The lesson learned is, don't be a douchebag to your friends. Join us next week when I'll write the big book of the Holocaust. And that's all the time we have for today. I'm sorry we couldn't get to our special guests, Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, but hopefully we can see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody, bye! Okay, so not everybody's fit for late night television, but if you want to see something really awesome to check out right now, please look at Amazon.com for The Late Shift.
Once upon a time, there was a king.
This is the last year that I'm doing The Tonight Show.
His loyal subjects,
Flip a coin, Jay, Dave, Jay. It doesn't matter to them.
How could a television show be worth this much embarrassment?
a fairy godfather,
We shall frame a deal that will make you one of the giants.
the queen mother of all managers.
See, I don't have a contract with you. I can move Jay to CBS within a month.
HBO Pictures comes clean about late night TV's dirtiest fight. The Late Shift, coming this month, only on HBO.
I can't stress how much I enjoyed The Late Shift. It was probably one of my favorite made-for-TV movies. The acting was so good, I actually really thought it was Jay Leno and David Letterman in this movie. Not only that, but I can't wait for the sequel, The Late Shift 2, to show up, with Emilio Estevez as Conan O'Brien and this guy again as Jay Leno. It's gonna be awesome. It's one of the awesomest things of the week. $3 at Big Lots, and you can get it at Amazon.com for $4.99 plus shipping and handling. Now, people are probably be wondering by the end of the show, why haven't I done anything involving Jimmy Kimmel? Well, it's not the fact I haven't seen his show, because I have seen the first 2 months of his show, when he had the open bar and the co-host of the week. But to me, there's really nothing to talk about, because most of his episodes is, hey, it's Guillermo and Uncle Frank, and that's the joke, haha. So really, the only time you have to watch Jimmy Kimmel live is when he has incidents happen. Like that one song, you know.
On the bed, on the floor, on a towel by the door, in the tub, in the car, up against the minibar.
Now, although I barely have seen Jimmy Kimmel's show, I will give him credit, he is very hilarious. The last episode I saw was the incident where he dressed up like Jay Leno, had that big beard, and pretty much made me bust out in laughter the entire time. But he has also summed up this entire late night war altogether when he appeared on the Jay Leno show.
Number 5, you're known for pranks. What's the best prank you ever pulled?
Well, when my Aunt Chippy was at work, I painted her house orange and green once, and she was not happy. Really? The whole outside of the house was orange. Yeah. But I think the best prank I ever pulled was I told a guy that 5 years from now, I'm going to give you my show. And then when the 5 years came, I gave it to him, and then I took it back almost instantly. Wow. It was hilarious.
You came on at 10 at 10 because A, you love innovative satellite technology. B, you're promoting your own show. C, you want to keep me happy in case I decide to switch to ABC.
You know what? It's all of the above, really. Listen, Jay, Conan and I have children.
I'm sorry.
All you have to take care of is cars.
That's right.
I mean, we have lives to lead here. You've got $800 million. For God's sakes, leave our shows alone.
A plea from Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Join us next time when we'll be talking about how our lighting has improved. Until then, I'm going to see how many minis I can eat during our end credits. Timing! Oh, if you're wondering what I'm writing down, nothing, because the pen ran out of ink.